What up, my peoples? Y'all all right? Greetings. Grand rising. You know what I'm saying? Positive energy, activate constant elevation. You know what I'm saying? To the gods, the goddesses. You know, us as a people, we've been dealing with certain dilemmas, overcoming certain struggles, for freedom. And it's like contemporarily at this time, we still dealing with the same kind of forces to overcome, you know what I'm saying, the difficulties of certain orchestrated social engineering for us to walk into some kind of difficulty where we have it hard in society here in the United States of America that appears to be in love with the negative habits and negative characteristics of perpetuating a racist status quo within the borders of the country, having negative effects on non-white people, but in particular us black people, African Americans, you know what I'm saying, who seem to always appear to be in some kind of battle against these particular forces, so to speak, that is conspicuously at odds with our progress in a country when it comes to us maintaining power and cease of power as a result of us working for that power regarding the social changes. That is an imperative, you know what I'm saying, for us to gain ground inside our country, here where we reside and live. Now, man, you right. Now, man, you. Now, I want to go into some ideas of breaking through the mental clutter that people of all races actually happen to be in as a result of them not gaining an understanding of certain wiles of Satan that is in operation on a day-to-day basis. Now, man, we in this world to live our life to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? To the point where we striving for happiness. You know, a lot of us, in pursuit of the American dream. But you have a lot of people in the United States who is complaining as a result of being dissatisfied to the point where they feel like they is experiencing the American nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Now, for instance, you had a Trump administration and his cabinet and certain people who was on his MAGA movement team in connection with the GOP Grand Old Party, certain Republicans who masquerade themselves as Christians, Christian white nationalists, who is actually a white supremacy conglomerate or group of people, you know what I'm saying, who is putting a lot of time and energy into thinking about themselves to the point where they is trying to consolidate certain powers for them to benefit from at the expense of other people's suffering. and lack of access to certain prosperity when it comes to the resources of our government to distribute and allocate resources to us who is considered like people outside of their particular kind of circles, right? But yet we have rights as citizens of the United States who is out here to the point where it's like everybody is for themselves. To the point where I gotta find out a way, you know what I'm saying, against the corruption in the environment that I'm not participating in, to where I shouldn't be a burden bearer, you know what I'm saying, of the decisions, of the criminality of certain folks and groups and organizations, you know what I'm saying, that I don't have nothing to do with in terms of them having that kind of mentality. But my mentality is about kingdom building, being in support of eye-opening information and wake-up knowledge to have a positive impact on the souls that I come in contact with. This is an act of spiritual maturity. Now, for instance, regarding the meat and potatoes of what I'm talking about, right? Let's go into the terminology and meaning and get to the source understanding of the word mystery. Say for instance, let's do the knowledge on the word mystery, right? What is a mystery? A mystery is something that is difficult to understand or explain. But it can also refer to a genre of fiction focused on solving a crime or a puzzle. In a broader sense, it can describe any secret, religious truth, or ancient religious rite. Now, let's look at the etymology of the word mystery. Okay. Okay, they're saying that the word mystery comes from the Greek mysterion, meaning secret rite, which is linked to the verb muo, meaning too close or too shut, likely referring to the secrecy of rites or closing one's eyes to see them. The word entered English via Latin mysterium and Anglo-Norman mystery, initially used for religious secrets or divine revelations before extending to any hidden or unknown thing. It also has an archaic meaning or craft or trade from the Latin ministerium. Okay. Key points of mystery regarding the etymology. The Greek root, the word traced back to the Greek mysterion regarding secret rite, which came from initiated person, and the verb muyo, to close or shut. Okay. The primary meaning, the original meaning was a secret religious rite or doctrine known only to initiate members, such as the Eleusinian mysteries. Secondary meaning. The word expanded to mean hidden thing or something whose cause is unknown. Archaic meaning. In an older sense, it referred to a craft or trade and the guild of people practicing it, derived from the Latin ministerium, service or craft. The modern term. This developed into its use today, particularly for detective stories, which were called detective stories until the word mystery became common around 1908. Now, with that said, right, regarding certain mysteries, certain powers that be want a lot of us to be in a state of not knowing, as outsiders, of certain privileged information that they have by them being insiders, you know what I'm saying, within a certain family or group complex that they are part of, versus the outsiders who have not been initiated into being privileged to have certain information that would enable them to have access to certain economic proliferations or knowledgeable proliferations with things that can make people's life with certain being privileged with certain access to certain things that can make people's lives much easier and better. So for instance, with that said, let's go into the terminology of the word occult now. Regarding the word occult, regarding the supernatural perspective of it, mystical or magical beliefs, practices, or phenomena, a secret society to study alchemy and the occult, of involving or relating to supernatural, mystical, magical powers or phenomena. A follower of occult practices similar to voodoo. This one is dealing with medicine. Of a disease or process not accompanied by readily discernible signs and symptoms. Cut off from view by interposing something. A wooden screen designed to occult the commentators or something hidden, something not conspicuous or readily seen, or when it comes to having knowledge of certain things, certain people, they just don't get it. So you have certain organized confusion being perpetrated in a society by dark musicians and dark workers who want people's minds to be clouded and full of doubt, uncertainty, or fictitious information as a result of them being under the influence of information that was schooled intelligence by disinformation experts. So, to circumvent, in order for us to circumvent or get around the obstacles of knowing, we have to connect with the right eye-opening information and wake-up knowledge that is going to put us on the enlightened page. But we got to do this ourselves. So for the sake of me doing the knowledge with this communication right here, right, it's intended to just kick the science about just that wake-up knowledge that touch on certain perspectives that will connect us to higher ways of seeing things beyond the blinders that certain forces pull over our eyes, certain blinders. Now that veil has to be lifted for a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, who is fighting this good fight, to where we have clarity of mind, because we deserve that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't born in this world to just be psychologically brutalized by the technology of the devil that's being carried into practice by these individuals who perpetrate a fraud like they care for your mental health. You know what I'm saying? But they don't care about our mental health because we've been lied to. They lied to us. They lied to me and you. So out of love and genuine care about having love for people, divine interventions have manifested amongst us to connect with that particular frequency for us who is attracted to that frequency to want to change into the light of the intellect. You know what I'm saying? Regarding our minds being connected to a healing process to improve our thinking abilities. You know what I'm saying? That will enhance our extrasensory perceptions of telepathy, clairvoyance, psychometry, intuition, and other extrasensory perceptions. But first, let's dig deep into the authentication of our consciousness, as opposed to what's called the falsification of our consciousness. Let's ponder on what's going to improve our consciousness and do away with the things that's put out here to tear our consciousness down, for us to be distracted into nonsense and lack of properly being connected to thoughts that keep us in tune with the higher positive frequencies of our higher selves, where we is conducting ourselves in a way where we reflecting the best in civilized society. That's in essence, right? Waking up is important, right? Because a lot of people out here is rocked to sleep. They sleepwalkers. So by them being sleepwalkers, it's like like they alive, but they not truly alive. So to be truly alive is to have consciousness to where you can see things where you're not in the darkness. For instance, a lot of people out here, they at a point of no return. Think about this. Some people is actually at a point of no return to where they would not return to a life of rational thinking, to the point where they done gave up on life. They done gave up on themselves. They done gave up pretty much on the righteous side of what the world really have to offer regarding people who represent the righteous side of the world, to where they become inspired, to where they keep hope alive. You know what I'm saying? To believe in themselves, to be somebody in terms of life being worth living, instead of being pessimistic in mind, to where they just give up on every fucking thing and not even care how they look in the public, how they smell, how they carry themselves, how they treat themselves, or they just let themselves go and end up drugged out, you know what I'm saying, to the point where they can end up prematurely leaving this earth, leaving this world, because they haven't got that grip on themselves to save themselves out of that kind of spiritually low condition. So when people get to a point of no return like that, you can tell them anything when they mind is made up to not give a fuck or to not care. You know what I'm saying? In what kind of way they don't give a fuck or they don't care, to the point where they on a path of self-destruction, when the term warning comes before destruction, and they don't pay attention to the warnings before destruction come. So when they don't heed the warnings, they make themselves vulnerable to the destruction. So in the opposite side of that spectrum of negativity like that, you have those who is not at a point of no return like that. They at a point of a new beginning. They at a point of returning to a beginning. They at the point of renewing themselves. They at a point of a yes return. Not the point of no return. They at the point of yes return to sanity, and catch themselves and save themselves and generate a certain energy of their mind, as far as them being motivated through self-love to represent the best aspects of themselves that are traits that end up being gifts of the Most High for us to live by in the first place. But due to this particular perspective here, hold on. I'm gonna look for something. Hold on. particular scriptures in John 12:3 and John 14:30, where it speaks about, where it refers to Satan, right, as the prince of this world, right, where it states about Yahshua referred to Satan as the ruler of this world, right, or the prince of this world. In context, where he predicts the coming judgment on the world and his own betrayal. Okay, let's go to it. Okay. Now, in 2 Corinthians 4:4, where it talks about Satan being the god of this world and the prince of the power of the air, indicating his influence over those who are disobedient in life. Now, for those disobedient people who are rebellious against the good judgment to embrace the guidance of the Most High while we live, and take a particular God of this world beside the real God of the universe and this planet, right? What fools these mortals be. So here it is. You got a lot of us get unnecessarily tested while we walk in the straight path, because we got the light of the Most High on us. You know what I'm saying? With a warrior spirit to nullify negativity that may try to surface in our path. You know what I'm saying? Regarding our intentions to live righteous and positive and do the right thing out here. You know what I'm saying? With a sound mind and peace of mind. In addition to being knowledgeable of the ways of the world. You know what I'm saying? Regarding the intricate details of the psychology of all kind of mental relevancies, you know what I'm saying, that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, dealing with sociology, psychology, economics, you know what I'm saying, accounting, law, spiritual wickedness, you know what I'm saying, sorcery, certain black magic, white magic, red magic, gray magic, multicolor magic. At the same time, protecting ourselves from the unclean things of the world. Being powerful. You know what I'm saying? Through the knowledge we possess and not be weak. You know what I'm saying? By giving into certain carnal customs of man that want to win you over until you decay into nothing. You know what I'm saying? Regarding this spiritual warfare and psychological warfare that we deal with on a daily basis, going on with the forwardness of our life. You know what I'm saying? Positive energy activate constant elevation. You know what I'm saying? To my people. You know what I'm saying? We are to be victorious. Y'all think y'all keep y'all spirits in good spirits despite, you know, the stupidity and negativity that may try to pull you down to bring you down. But come what may, for the contentment of my mind is not going to be disturbed by the clown stuff that I have to laugh at. Because it will not get the best of me. And y'all that's listening to this positive message, y'all can't let them get the best of you either. On this planet, that's one big test. You know what I'm saying? Where we are to circumvent. You know what I'm saying? We are to get around and circumvent certain traps that the diabolical ones try to set out for us to get caught up in and stumble and fall. Don't y'all know that's crazy? Instead of helping you up, certain forces want to tear you down. You know what I'm saying? Pick your brain. See where you at psychologically or spiritually to try to use certain information against you. Once they find out you think a certain positive way for certain negativity to befall you, man, what kind of sick mentalities is that? Dark hearts in certain people's hearts is evil continuously. You know what I'm saying? Connected with spiritual wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Only for it to get crushed by warriors like me and you. You know what I'm saying? Who have certain answers of knowing how to respond to those kind of small-minded things, because we think big. Ain't nothing petty about us. You know what I'm saying? We are mental giants. Who let our light shine because we are of the light. You know what I'm saying? Of the Most High. So with that said, I just wanted to kick it with y'all for a minute. Positive energy, activate constant elevation. You know what I'm saying? We will stay strong by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Being the beautiful people we are. You know what I'm saying? Who is ordained to live beautiful, blessed lives where we have access to abundance and many blessings on top of blessings. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Let's get deeper into some things. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put something together. Hold on, I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, the perspective of what I wanted to talk about us really getting our character right in terms of being free from being made strange, in terms of being strangers to our original selves, and be who we really are, and not what we end up being turned into as a result of slave masters creating a negative slave mentality in our people. Like, for instance, right, being made strange amongst strangers, where we start engaging into strange behavior and strange things that's alien to our true cultural norms in terms of valuing peace, harmony, organization, you know what I'm saying, and well-being for all of us, benefiting from the riches of the land regarding equality, right? But yet, divine messengers, you know what I'm saying, have spoke on our behalf for us to embrace the truth of who we are and stay away from foolish information, right? That cause us to end up acting like fools, being blind, deaf, and dumb to the reality of the truth. Because a lot of our peoples have been made fools for far too long. You know what I'm saying? So to be free from the prophecies of being enslaved, where we are to come out with great substance. You know what I'm saying? Regarding that particular verse in Genesis 15:13. Y'all can look it up. We fit the description of that. But due to us connecting to our true spiritual science to take us far beyond where our minds have been, is being properly cultivated through knowledge itself, where we see ourselves in proper character. You know what I'm saying? So peace, love, and light to my people. I just wanted to build with y'all for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So we can have our thoughts on the right channel of information to what we listening to, the proper spirit that is connecting us into all truth. You know what I'm saying? What we will really be free indeed. You know what I'm saying? And be the gods who we really are. Positive energy, activate constant elevation, y'all. Much love. You know what I'm saying? And stay conscious of your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Because we know the environment that we living in. You know what I'm saying? People's minds, it ain't right. It ain't people's minds. It ain't they minds not wrapped too tight. And we know that's a reality. You know what I'm saying? In the world and in the society. You know what I'm saying? So stay sober-minded. You know what I'm saying? Stay sober-minded, y'all. And much love and success to us all. Peace and love. 100.